Welcome back to LETV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. Let's do this. Right guys, so I'm back and I'm here in the LETV studio on the outskirts of Dalkeith, and I'm here with MC and songwriter Damaged Goodz.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, cheers for coming on, man.
Cheers for having me.
I've been looking forward to it, man. Damaged Goodz has came all the way over from Glasgow for this one. I'd offered to go to Glasgow, I was looking forward to a wee trip, but I'll hit Glasgow next time. So.
Nah, you don't want to jump into my house, it's full of cat shit and porno mags.
Right, sounds like my sort of place.
Aye. We'll do a second part, that I mean, it'll just be pure filth.
Nice, just watch the cat shit, mate.
Aye, and the porno mags.
Aye. I'll be watching the porno mags.
Aye. Razzle readers' wives. You know what I mean?
Nice one, man. Well, we'll just crack right on then, I suppose. We'll get right on to the first part,
cool. Which
is based on where you're from, sort of where you were born, where you're from, what you were sort of like as a kid, as a sort of your personality, what you got into as you were growing up. So I started off sort of where you're from and where were you born and where you're
Sounds
from.
like a therapy session.
I can.
I was, believe it or not, mate, I was actually born in Wester Hailes. Born in Wester Hailes. Moved away from Wester Hailes when I was 3 to Castlemilk. My first memory, for some reason, was getting a picture taken on a Polaroid in Castlemilk in the flats that we were staying in when we moved back to Glasgow. So that was my first memory, was kicking about Castlemilk, and then we went from Castlemilk to Rutherglen, and then from Rutherglen back to Castlemilk. So we're basically like new age travellers that smelt good. You know what I mean? So, but as far as it was rough as fuck, you know what I mean? Especially in Castlemilk when I hit. It was like the 80s in Castlemilk when it was probably at its worst. It was probably the most violent housing scheme, I think. It was classed as the most violent housing scheme in Europe. And we, as I say, we bounced between Rutherglen. Rutherglen was like a posh place. That's like maybe a couple of miles down for Castlemilk, and then when we found out that we were getting decanted up to Castlemilk, it was like in the winter, and I remember being a wee guy like, fuck man, the minute somebody mentioned Castlemilk, it was like your blood went cold, because you're like, fuck, I'm going to get stabbed to death up here. And I was like, when we were moving up there, I always remember saying to myself, well, it's the winter, so I'll just stay in the house, I won't fucking jump out and make any pals or anything like that. And then when I went out there, the first memory of Castlemilk, it was snowing outside. I lived in a street called Ardmalish. It was snowing outside, so I was like, I'd jump out, and there was all these guys having a snowball fight. And fucking, I was like, right, fucking, it's a good chance to make pals. One of the boys that was there, I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure it was something like Davy Felton or something like that. It was something like that. And he was meant to be quite a tough wee cunt, you know what I mean? He could fight like fuck. And I was like, well, it was me against him with the snowball fight. I was like, fuck you, right off his face. You just seen his face going red, and I'm like, I'm going to get fucking murdered here. This isn't going to fucking end well. But after a while, once you make pals and you start acclimatising to your surroundings and all that, you're kind of fine.
Aye.
But we bounced from Stravanen to Ardmalish in Burgadale, the 3 different streets in there, and it was always class myself as, when people, the first thing when people say to me, where are you from, I'll always say Castlemilk first. Because it's when I went for like a man to a boy. And like, what age were you?
3 years old?
No. When I moved to Castlemilk when I was 3,
I
don't remember much about that, but when we moved to Rutherglen from Castlemilk, and we were down there to, I was about, I don't know what age it was, but it was primary 5 when I moved back up to Castlemilk. So it was primary 5 to 4th year.
Primary 5, you were probably like 9 or 10 year old.
Something like that.
I'm judging off my daughter's age and what year she's in.
In there, and it was wild, because obviously housing schemes are notoriously territorial. So I was like Stravanen to Ardmalish to Stravanen, so it was like 2 different fucking worlds basically. And when you're in Stravanen, you can't jump to another street, because obviously fucking turf wars or whatever. But the street that we were in, when we ended up in Stravanen, was actually great. It was a good community
Aye.
good community. Whenever it was the sun was out, everybody was out fucking letting off the fire hydrants. Tony's ice creams. This guy, there was an ice cream van. Tony's. He's a big Italian guy, and see when you talk about the stereotypical Italian guy, the mafioso shit and all that, that was him. The Hawaii shirt, the big chain hanging down, and what it was is there was always trouble with like some of the ice cream vans and stuff like that, but nobody fucked with Tony.
Aye.
Like they were like nah, fucking. The rumour was he had a shotgun under his counter
Aye.
in case anybody tried to bump him.
Crazy,
So
eh?
like whenever you went in, and it was always like
It's
you would
like a
get in.
Glasgow thing though, eh? I mean, you didn't get as many stories like that in Edinburgh. Like, you've got like people that own businesses, they'd keep a baseball bat or maybe a big machete or something. But like in Glasgow, it's always been a lot more sort of gun crime and stuff. So
Well,
there's
my
more chance that somebody's got a gun.
aye, my old dear and her husband at the time, my ex stepdad, they had an ice cream van, and they had an ice cream van during the ice cream wars.
Aye.
They were their roots were in like Easterhouse and stuff like that, but they get told quite rapidly, get the van off the street because fucking shit's about to go down and all that. I was too young to even comprehend what was happening. I was just in there like, I'm fucking getting free Ferrero Rochers every night. This is fucking great, you know what I mean? And then that just stopped, and like they gave up the ice cream van business, and then started a cafe in Duke Street, and that was quite cool. But getting back to the Tony's Ices, as I say, you didn't fuck with Tony, but see when your mom that went in to get like an ice cream and shit like that, he's fucking in there turning on the charm like fuck, trying to get into their knickers, you know what I mean? They're just like, fucking hell, man, this guy's relentless, and his wee wife's, and she's driving the fucking van just like, cause just Tony being Tony. It's a terrible Italian accent, but anyway, like fucking, so there was Tony's Ices, in the summer, it was fucking great. Like, I went to Castlemilk High, and my school was fucking brilliant, and it was wild because I'm basically come from like a football background.
What came for Castle Milk?
Like, good stuff.
Aye. There was like
Charlie Mother made it pro. Andy
something on
McLaren
TV,
made it
something
pro.
rings a bell about Castle Milk. Like,
Jerry Cinnamon.
is it? Aye, I
Jerry
don't know what
Cinnamon.
it is. Aye, was there like a product that was made in Castle Milk? Something
No.
that you bought in the shops? Or that?
Nah.
Nah.
That I know it anyway. You know what I mean? But like, some of us call it Chateau Lait. To make it sound fucking
Fancy.
quite posh, you
Aye,
know what I
aye.
mean? But it's far from it. Aye. So as I say, coming from like a football background, I always found it quite weird that I'd be in school with all these guys, and we're all teammates in the football ground. But then at the weekend and that, we're all fighting each other because we come from different streets. I always found that fucking bonkers. I'm like, that's my mate that's playing left back, and we're swinging fucking bats at each other at the weekend. And all that. I was actually quite lucky because my mum was quite streetwise. She knew when all the fights were happening. She would fucking ground me and keep me in. You know what I mean? She kept me away from it all. I mean, which was a blessing in disguise. But at the time, I was like fucking. I just wanted to go and like.
Ken. You wouldn't have
join
Ken,
in
eh?
with- No,
It's
no.
good your ma was wise to it. Though, eh?
Aye, because when you knew fights were happening, it fucking the rumour spread like
I mean, that's when
wildfire.
nasty stuff happens, eh, Ken? Some
definitely.
folk, I mean, it's like it happens everywhere, so that's something that like areas fighting in Edinburgh and that, and normally it's just a case of folk having a good pagger.
Well,
But every
Castlemilk,
now
right,
and then there's a bad
Castlemilk-
story. Eh?
Aye, Castlemilk in the 80s, some of the pictures, it looks like fucking Beirut. Why would you want to fight and defend it? You know what I mean? Why would you want to defend that street when it looks like a fucking bomb site? You know what I mean?
Aye.
I always found it bonkers, and as I say, I was kind of friendly with everybody. I never really got into a lot of trouble because I was kind of like a class clown. You know what I mean? I learned quite quick to keep out of trouble,
Aye, and keep on
make people
folks'
laugh.
good side.
You know what I mean?
Aye, folk think I was similar, like being funny. I was a bit of the class clown too, and I ended up quite popular at school. I had lots of pals, and it's just because I was a good laugh.
Aye,
and
aye.
I done the same trick as you. I wasn't big in wanting to fight in that folk, so like I tended to just win folk over, eh?
Aye.
And so it's a good way
Well,
to survive.
It was mad as well because like in Castlemilk as well in the school, they had this, there was always like school clubs and all that, and they're like, ah, right, they've got this new club, they want you to join inside the school, and I'm like, I was fucking game for everything. Bear in mind, Castlemilk in the 80s, right, fucking, right, this club, the Polite Society, getting these fucking badges with the Polite Society on it, and it's like, I'm walking about with the Polite Society badge on my fucking, like, in Castlemilk, it was just like, I'm just destined to get kicked in here, you know what I mean? And we went for that to, there was the Gingerbread Club for single parent families, but it was fucking wild because they used to get money together to go on like holidays to Butlins and all that, but all these single parent families, all the women took their fucking boyfriends and all that, so it was a complete fucking sham, you know what I mean?
Aye.
But nah, it's like, I've
So,
got mad fond memories of Castlemilk.
were your mum on just you and your mum, like?
No, no. Well, what it was is she was the my first like kind of stepdad, the one that was in the ice cream van and all that. He's he's a prick. You know what I mean, so he got bombed out, and then she met up with my stepdad and my dad. You know what I mean, Big Shuggy. He was a groundsman for Clyde, the football team. And,
So is that who was in your video?
Aye,
Aye.
for a Torchbearer. That's Big Shuggy. That's my dad, and he was the groundsman at Clyde football ground, and he got me in to be the ball boy and stuff like that. So like Clyde, the football runs through my fucking veins, you know. And he used to work in the Clyde club
So
as
you
well,
played
which
a lot
is
of
the
football
social
as
club.
well, like,
Aye. Like, but my mom, like he fancied my mom for about 17 years for what I'd fucking heard, and finally she says I and went out with him, and that their relationship was
That's
really fucking
dedication,
rocky.
like.
Aye,
Dedication for him.
their relationship was rocky.
Aye.
I won't really go into that, but even when they were splitting up and getting back together, my dad, he
was
always
always
stuck
there.
with me.
Aye.
He never says, well, I'm finished with your mom, that means, so you can fuck off, that mean. He always took me to the football, he always fucking took me about and all that, I mean, so
Aye.
that's
So
how
he
I've
really was a
I've
dad.
got mad respect for the guy.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
He stepped in as your dad and forever. Aye.
And he's still there kicking about, you know what I mean?
Aye. I take it you have no contact with your biological dad or that.
Don't know
like
who
that.
it is.
Aye.
I don't know. For what I know, he's a guy called Brian Clark, and
right.
he worked in a printers in Edinburgh.
All right.
That's it. You know
Aye.
what I mean?
I'm in that
And
sort of business, but I don't ken any Brian Clarks.
good, so good and punch fuck at him.
Aye,
No, I'm not kidding.
Could set him up.
Aye. Well, the thing is as well, it's like fucking knowing my luck, I would go online and be like, he's either deed or he's a paedophile, you know what I mean? So like fucking...
And you also get to a point, I mean, I've been lucky, I had both my parents there, but I've had lots of pals that have had single parents, and a lot of pals are not interested in meeting their dad when they've been like that.
I'm lucky
Ken.
because Big Shug was brilliant, but also my brother-in-law Todd, he was like a father figure to us as well. He was the one that took me to all my football games when I was a wee guy, because I was a football player.
Aye.
And like he gave up all his spare time, so I had two shit hot
Male figures.
Aye. So I didn't feel as if I was missing out on anything.
Aye,
you know what I mean?
totally.
So,
Aye.
but it's funny, you know what I mean? Because there is always like a fucking therapy session here. Like there's obviously the thoughts of abandonment and all that. But as I say, I had enough good stuff to not even fucking think about it.
That's totally it. So you didn't sit pondering on it. I've had pals that their mum didn't meet anyone else after that, so it was just them and their mum.
Aye.
And it seemed to play more on them that there was no dad or a guy there, so they thought about their dad a lot more.
Aye.
And then sadly, quite a few of my pals that eventually made the step to try and contact them, he wouldn't be bored.
Aye.
And then it was like,
I don't
that's
think I
shocking,
could,
when
I
somebody
don't
makes
think...
the effort, and then the guy's like,
aye,
I left for a reason.
I don't think I
basically.
could face that shit.
Aye.
Nah, I mean, like as in maybe like rejection again.
Aye.
And I feel as if as well, if I ever
You'd go off
pursued
the
that,
route, you'd go nuts.
maybe no, but maybe earlier in my life if it happened. I mean, but I've never really pursued it because I feel as if it would be disrespectful to my stepdad.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
So
And
I don't know.
the guys out there, if they ever wanted to try and contact you, then go for it. But I'm not really making a move towards you.
Exactly, and the thing is as well, like with the internet and stuff like that, I don't think people are that hard to find anymore.
Aye,
You
aye,
know what I mean?
aye, totally. Aye.
But I don't know. I'll just roll on.
You can post a thing on Facebook, and it goes through friends and friends, and before you know, somebody knows. It's like when you get your bike stolen now. Like somebody just posts up about the area where my bike was stored. It was this area, and this woman in that shop saw it. And before you know it, folk are sharing it, and the bike's traced.
Aye,
So
aye.
quite impressive. Like
Feel as if I need a hug now.
it is therapy. Like I've had a few folk going, "Oh, it was good, man. It's a bit like therapy as well." Like, hey. And,
Aye, well, I'm an open book anyway, mate, so it doesn't even matter.
I normally joke that I'll send you the invoice later. Right, nice one, man. Cool. Well, that was a good chatting. Like, you're definitely a good guest. Like, some folk aren't too chatty, but you're giving plenty of input. Like,
Yeah, well, not unless you've spiked my drink, that mean I'm going to end up like a fucking Mongo here.
aye, no, I'll keep that for the second part.
Cool. Cool. As long as you don't bum me when I'm sleeping.
Cool, man. So, so what were you like as a kid? Like your personality? You're a really like up tempo, confident person as an adult. Were you like that as a kid?
Kinda. It was a lot to do with.
You were like that when I met you. Back when I met Steg at the same time, 20 years ago now.
Aye.
Oh,
Like
really?
I
You were always, when I mind you, like coming in the room and knowing who Damaged Goods was, and like that, me and Mad Tap, we were a lot younger, and Steg being like, BJ's coming, Damaged Goods, aye, fucking hell, what, Damaged Goods is coming too, and then you entered the room and you were like a big personality. Kind of, you've always been like that. You've had like.
I like it might go back to the class clown thing, you know what I mean? But I like to make people laugh, you know what I mean, and feel as if they'd like to hang about with me, you know what I mean? That might be like fucking
Not wanting attention, but just being popular.
well, more like the best thing you can hear is somebody else's laugh.
Aye,
You know what
aye.
I mean, that's for me anyway, and it's funny. See, I don't get people that say I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
Aye.
I'm the complete opposite, because see, if people like you, it means you're doing the right thing. That means you're.
I'm similar. I want people to like me, and I go out my way to be nice to folk, and in hopes that they think, oh, he's a sound guy. I want people just to think he's sound.
Aye, because it's funny, because the people that you surround yourself with later on in life, it's the ones that are like that, because you're like, I'd rather jump about with them than this negative arse piece.
Totally,
you know what I
and
mean?
you realise
And then
that as you get
after a
older,
while,
eh?
you filter out the bullshit, and when you get to a certain age, you're left with with the real cunts.
And you didn't notice it until you're older, that like that wasn't good. They certain folk around you all the time, and you realise as you get older these things that, oh wow, and you notice your happiness more, when you remove yourself from situations. You're like,
definitely, and it's funny as well, because and when in Castlemilk, I've only really got one or two, maybe three pals that I still consider my muckers.
Aye.
Because when it was funny, when I left to move to Fort William, there was no internet and all that. I mean, it was just, and there was no mobile phones, so it was just a home phone number. And if you phone somebody and they're no in, that's it fucked.
Good.
I mean, so the communication gets broke. And
some folk didn't even have a house line, so like you walked all the way up to their house and chapped the door, and nobody was there, and you walked all the way back.
I know, and you used to always get like prank calls and all that. I mean, on the landline. I remember fucking one time, I think somebody phoned up my mum. It was like you used to call them dirty phone callers, and like I think she answered the phone, and fucking he's like a heavy breathing and all that. And my mum was just like, "Listen, I won't stick your dick up your own arse." I mean, I mean, so the old landline, fucking great.
I got similar things like that. I think just mucking about in the wrong circles, and then probably like annoying the wrong, and then somebody would get a hold of your house phone.
It's funny, like I know a lot of salty characters that I grew up with, but I managed to keep the right distance, and like what I usually do is quite a positive thing anyway. Like I was a footballer as a young man, basically a wee guy. So I played in goals for like Glasgow schools. I had trials for Rangers and stuff like that. I passed my trial, but I never get signed. And a lot of my drive with hip hop comes from failing as a football player. I mean, because that'll always remain in my brain that with the football thing, I just never quite made it
Aye.
and it was like that always sticks with me. And I mean, that's how a
That'd be
lot of
sitting in your head a lot, eh?
aye,
Because that could
aye,
have been
it's a big,
could have been your
drive.
life if it had went the other way.
Aye, and it's funny as well because even though football was my life, back in Castlemilk and all that, hip hop was as well.
Aye.
We didn't really know a lot of people that were into that kind of music. For what I remember, there was only like 3 guys. Me, a guy called Lee Armour, and a guy called Danny Duffy. I was a Public Enemy head. I think Danny Duffy was LL Cool J, and my wee mate Lee Armour at the time, he was Run DMC, and he was shit hot at body popping and that, you know, so the culture ran along with football.
I was
with me
saying,
at the same time.
I was chatting to somebody about asking if I just a pal sort of thing, asking if I've got any more podcasts planned, and saying, I'd been busy with work, but I've got a few booked in now, eh? And I was saying, I'm doing one with this guy, Damaged Goodz. Oh, who's that like? I was like, you'll be like, I was like, he's like a legendary Scottish rapper. Like he was doing stuff before I was doing stuff. So a lot of folk think, you've been doing stuff for ages. I was like, this guy's been doing stuff before I was doing stuff. All right. And it's just like, so the funny thing, I was like, and even my missus is laughing, and I'm going, Damaged Goods, the legendary Scottish rapper, like, that's been doing it for years, is coming to knitting. He's coming to Newton Grange. How did I get Damaged Goods coming to Newton Grange?
It's wild because I kind of, I'm really uneasy with that stuff.
I know. I knew
mean?
you'd probably feel like that.
And I don't cringe at it. It's nice, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of like the same. Like fucking, I see
other people as well in the same.
I see Big Div like that, Major Threat. I see Steg and Davey like that.
Aye.
I see the Two Tone Boys like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they went before
Loki
me.
shows a lot of respect to Div.
Loki started off with Div, I'm sure.
I think that's right. Aye.
Like,
I'm the same with Div, so I'm the same with but I'm the same with Steg and Freestyle, Davey, and same with you. I look at people like Loki at literally exactly the same position as me. We started almost literally the same time. He was in Glasgow, we were in, and so that sort of generation. I'm in that generation, and you guys are just that wee sort of generation ahead. You came before us.
I think if I remember, Loki put it perfectly. It was like fucking waves.
Aye.
I mean, like there's different waves of artists. The first wave for me is like Steg and Davey, Two Tone, Major Threat, J Large. I don't want to miss anything out. I mean, and then the second wave.
I put Scotland Yard ahead of me as well.
Nah, definitely.
They were about before we were doing stuff. And
aye.
I saw Jinx on stage before I even rapped. I mean, I think I'd wrote stuff and messed about, but I mind standing watching, didn't even know who he was. Jinx was on. It wasn't till as time went on, I was like, I seen Jinx on stage, and before I was even rapping, thinking, and I remember being there drinking and not even know many folk, just so like one of my mates or something, and going, oh man, I could do that.
Aye.
I was like, I can, and I was already right. I was like, I write stuff like that, and I could do that. I didn't even know if people were getting on stages doing this. Like,
I was the same. Like the first person I seen rapping in a Glaswegian accent or a Scottish accent was Big Div, Major Threat, when he opened up for Gunshot at the Cat House. But like with Div's thing, they were like brickcore, like that Gunshot, Killer Instinct kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Son of Noise, and I was like, I fucking can't rap like that. And then, like literally, maybe like it must have been maybe a year later, I went to see, there was a hip hop night on at the Cat House, and it was like Sons of the Devil, Clan Disciples, Power Move, which is Steg, Davey, Shuey, and Jimmy, and went along to that, and fucking, I was like, when Power Move were on, I was like that. When Power Move were on, I was like, that's my shit. I mean, because it was like the hip hop that I was into, like the no boom bap, I mean, but like the mid 90s funky,
I know what you mean,
slow down stuff.
Aye.
And it's like, wee Davey, I always remember, because for some reason I managed to get the VHS as well that night, and like wee Davey, I always remember like his stage presence is off the fucking scale, man. I mean, it was like
always
when he raps, he's like pointing his finger, and he was like fucking. I'm sure, for what I remember, it was like, you'll be in a state of disarray when I play on words, words, adjective, nouns going underground. It's a metaphoric clowns, like further and further. Tell me another, like, stumble in the bills of hell and live to tell the tale. I'm like, fucking hell, man. I mean, like, what the fuck?
I mind seeing freestyle and thinking, like, at the time, nobody's like near his professionalism. like when I first started doing it myself, like that freestyle master guy, like is like so everybody's sort of, it seems like everyone's winging it, and he's already locked it down. That's how I felt.
Like that night, there was an open mic at the end of it, and there was me, Big Div, wee Davey, the Power Move guys, and all that, all up freestyling at the end of it. I wish somebody had the footage of it, you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't say it'd be like legendary footage and shit like that, know what I mean? But kinda, know what I mean? Because totally. A lot of these guys, like
it's the beginnings, really.
Kinda, and it's like when you're talking about like wee Davey's professionalism, like some people might disagree with me, but I'll put it out there, as far as I'm concerned, that boy's the best MC that's ever come out of Scotland.
Aye, I know. Aye. He's recognised over the country still as well.
He's definitely the most complete.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Like he can do anything. He can do like club stuff. He can do hardcore stuff.
He can do
grime.
grime.
He can do grime. Fucking blah blah blah.
It's double time stuff. He's always double timed though. Before grime was even a thing, he did that slower beats and double timing. So he already knew how to do it when grime hit off.
He's a fucking monster.
Aye. But we're getting really close to time on this first part already. So that's been 25 minutes already, man. But aye, we can still.
Marathon, not a sprint.
It's been a good chat though, man, because like tons of interesting stuff like history and that as well, of the scene and stuff. So, but we'll probably just move on then. We can still cover more stuff about your teens anyway, because normally I'm struggling to fill the spots and like we're running out of time, so that's cool. Good. That's a good thing. Aye, cool, man. So we'll move on to the first break just now. We're going to get a track from Damaged Goodz. He'll sort me out with what we're playing. All the details will be on the screen if it's available, where you can get it, etc. And we'll be back in a wee minute.
Cheer.
Peace.
I've been banging this bud since my teens. Her name is Self-Destruct. Turns me to a self-loathing, self-centered, selfish fuck. I push her buttons now and then. I like to turn the knife. She responds by fucking up my life. She's a detriment to the best of men. Went from being the best of pal to a femme fatale. I cuff a blanket, I pumped it, spanked it, dumped it, smashed it, done with it, past it. She won't feel hanging off my coattails. Happiness the holy grail, but that boat sailed. This mess I've caused, my head's appalled. Let me fall like the Becky Call of a wrecking ball. You're a honey, I'm a boozing dummy. We are boozing bodies, see me lose my money. My house and my job, life's a risk. Go home smelling of you and my wife is pissed. Her phone wipes lipstick off my collar. Trust is a goner, dipshit dishonour. Love drunk, I shiver and sweat, dumb stuff. She'll never forgive or forget. My lover in the bitterest, toxic relationships. Stunner has a fit cause I called her a crazy bitch. Spun her away with lies, my future I'm facing it. Wonder if we'll slip, take a fall, get away with it. No chance, I go dance with romance. Full plans, my soul's clamped in his whole hands. She's a glass pipe, weird past strife. Me and my half-cut wife are like half-shot knives. I can't accept blame, head team. You tell her I fucked it up again. Harsh facts, it's my fault, her heart's cracked. Bags packed, happily ever after that's patched. My calamity urge is a vanity plus. Me, I swam in the dulge, it's a family curse. Love's a battlefield, open trenches. Nails in the coffin, closed broken fences. There's a ton of making up to do. My life has been stuck in glue since I fucked with you. I try to picture my marriage as something true. Who are you, obstructing my view, cause you're fun to screw? You call, I'm down to lose it all, fall back and bounce. You choose to bruise my balls. Women on top, non-stop, chop chop. Jaws locked, lost, plot, cock, lock, draws drop. Tug of war, what the fuck are we fucking for? My first Lamore, I deform with a rusty saw. I'm a heartless rat, grab a bag, let's start a menage a trois of self-sabotage. The mirror's telling me I am truly scum. Love is a game, a brutal one. You're losing, son. A bullet for my Valentine till she drew the gun. Run! The chamber has spun. Me and you are done.
Done. Keep telling yourself that. Go till you've bounced back. Get down on your knees. tease and convince her that this was your last dance. But it takes two to tango, round the ballroom hand in hand. I've been on the floor enough times to know you're flawed and your words won't last. Such a big man, take control and keep calm. Put down your foot but remember you're still under my thumb. So who gets the last laugh? I'm your other half. I'm the darkness, the parts you harness. 10-10 figure with a name that's tarnished. Pull the trigger and remove the armour. Behind the mask there's just a little kid, counting on his little fingers all the little lies he spit, and all the times he's told the missus that he's working, taking care of business, just to drop the phone and push up on his mistress, blowing kisses with bloody teeth. It's not the end of you and me. You think you're out the woods but I can see the trees. I'm sleep paralysis, you're stuck to the mattress. If you thought you'd wake up, you're out of luck. I'm your fucking self-destruct.
Right guys, so that's us back with part 2. Hope you enjoyed that track there from Damaged Goodz. All the details should have been on the screen, where it's available, track name, etc. We're just going to bash on with the second part. First part was interesting, so let's see what we come up with in our banter conversation.
Try and beat the first part.
Nice, right, it's cool. So part 2 is based on sort of what events in your life pushed you in the direction of like making music, becoming a rapper, and getting into that sort of stuff, and then maybe a wee bit about like why you still do it now, how important it is to you, what pushes you to keep doing music still.
Yeah.
And so starting off, sort of, can you remember like a point in your life where you met somebody, you weren't even into rap music yet, or you met a pal that was, or you went somewhere, or you...
Nah, it was what it was is there was always music in our house.
Right.
My sisters and my mum used to always be playing Motown, so they're all like Michael Jackson fanatics and shit. So there was always music in the house, and my sister used to always play like Sugar Hill Gang.
Right.
I never thought when I heard like rap music like well, that's different. I just thought it was
Music.
part of the furniture basically, right?
Aye.
And like the more and more I get introduced to stuff like that I come across stuff, I was like, well, this is the stuff that I'm into, as well as like Motown stuff and shit like that. My brother-in-law, he's a songwriter. He's been doing it for an eternity. He had his own studio, and
cool.
he knew I was into rap music. He's like, maybe this jump on this and do a wee rap here.
He was
I was
the older brother.
yeah, it's my brother.
Aye, he was like a
father
good
figure.
Aye.
That's Todd, David Torrance. He runs his own thing, THP Songs. So he had his own studio in the house. It was just a wee, obviously a makeshift thing. And he's like, this could be doing me a wee rap. I was like, didn't know shit. Know what I mean, so like fucking rapped in an American accent and stuff like that. He was like, listen, this song. I was going to do a song called Stay Off the Crack. It's about the crack epidemic in San Francisco. I'm like, fuck it, I'll write about that. What the fuck do I know about the crack epidemic in San Francisco? So like, I think the first lines were, stay off the crack because you ain't no friend of mine. You want to mess with that stuff? Fine. But you'll end up laying on your back just because you want to die crack. It was fucking horrendous. But I was only like fucking maybe 13, 14 at a time. And my brother-in-law used to run like band nights and stuff like that, and like talent nights in a snooker hall around the corner of Oregon, a place called the Cue Ball.
What year are we looking at?
Well, I was 14, so fucking 76. So I was like, what, 14 year old.
Aye, but so about 1990.
Aye, something like that. Aye.
Roughly 89, 90.
So in a snooker hall, and he was like, alright, we'll jump in and do your song, Stay Off the Crack and all that. I was like, fucking. So my first gig was in a snooker hall called the Cue Ball, and I went up there, and my brother-in-law played the backing track, but for some reason he played the backing track with my vocals still in it, and it threw me the fuck off, right? So I fucked it. I was like, what the fuck am I? And all these old guys were like, fucking turn that shit off and all that. It was a fucking horrendous experience for me. That was my first gig. It was in a snooker hall. But he always got me back in, and he actually just let me use the studio. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. He's probably like the first version of Cubase or something like And I was just in there fucking noodling about and stuff like that, and then
And you were getting more into doing raps.
aye. I never knew people who rapped in a Scottish accent until I seen Big Div, Major Fret Dane opening up for Gunshot, and then just after that.
So was that before or just after when you were doing stuff with your brother-in-law? Was that
was
before?
after.
Just after. Aye, that was after.
But the Big Div, seeing Big, I was like maybe 17, 18, so it was like 4 years later.
Aye, so you'd already done a wee bit of rap before you'd found
Aye.
other rappers.
Aye. But it was all like rapping in American and stuff like that,
aye.
and just aping the kind of stuff that I was into. And the stuff that I was into was like Public Enemy, Ice Cube, probably like NWA, shit like that.
Aye, you're just imitating it, really.
Kinda.
Mm.
Like, I remember one of the first raps I wrote. There was a place in Castlemilk called Scarrow Drive, and they had like immigrant students in there, and it was like a place called Scarrow Drive, and my uncle stayed in Scarrow Road, I think it was, so he was right next to Scarrow Drive, and it was like a enclosed bit. And I always remember I was into Public Enemy and shit at the time, and used to go by there, and it was like all graffiti and swastikas. It was fucking like racist shit and all that. So I was into Public Enemy. So that was the first rap that I kind of like wrote. That was my idea, kind of thing, rapping about that. So I was like, oh, fucking proud as fuck. You know what I mean? I was like, that, showing it to my mom and all that. And she was like, I guess it's pish. I'm like that. Fucking hell, man. You know what I mean? So like,
I'm tackling a community subject.
A social fucking. This is extreme social commentary here. And she's like, nah, take that away. And I was like, must have caught her in a bad mood. But after that, I was just like, well, that's my political rap career over. And then, but I just kept like writing and freestyling and shit like that, you know what I mean? And just up until I had the balls to jump up on an open mic and do a bit of freestyling.
Aye. You were quite a confident person though, so you weren't too shy though.
Nah, not at all.
Aye.
Like, when I moved to,
I was quite nervous but it was always good that me and Mad pretty much came up completely together. So when we done our first gigs, there was always two of us.
Aye.
So it was that sharing the stage with another person. Was like so much more relief.
Aye. If you fucked up, somebody would carry
and then
it
when
off.
I started doing my first, and even just being on stage in front of people, instead of all the eyes on you, some eyes are on someone else too. It's not like everybody's like, oh, this is mental.
Well, I used to do like like school plays and all that in Castlemilk, and one of the school plays was Joseph in his multicoloured dreamcoat, and I was like an Elvis impersonator, and that means so I was always like fine with getting up in front of a fucking crowd and all that and having a laugh and shit. The following year, we had to do like a school play, but it was like ripping the piss out of our teachers, and one of our teachers had a pet crocodile, so they had a blow up crocodile for me, and one of my classmates he burst it, and I was fucking raging. So I was like backstage ready to go in and act like I think it was Mr. Cairns' teacher was that had the pet crocodile, and then backstage this cunt burst with a fucking pet crocodile, so I was going to kill this guy. Like I was like fucking getting held back, swinging punches and shit like that, and it's just like you look back at it and you're like that. I was going to fight somebody or a blow up fucking crocodile, you know what I mean? Because he was ruining my fucking stage time, you know what I mean? So I felt as if, well, after that, I was maybe destined for the stage.
Aye. Totally, man. Nice one. So so you were about 13 when you sort of wrote your first wee raps?
Aye, 13, 14. And I never actually initially studied the art form and how you break it down on it. Like some people would go to Rick Immon, but well, he's a master, so how does he do that? I never done any of that. A lot of my stuff was like self-taught through freestyling, because I thought it was easier to freestyle than it was to write, and I could come up with stuff quite quick, and I just kind of built on for there, and then seeing people that were like far better at it than me ahead of me, but I need to work hard to fucking catch up here.
And were you getting into the fashions at that age too? Were you like
not necessarily
trying to
because
look
we were
like a rapper too?
No. We were skint, mate.
Aye.
We had fuck all. So I remember having second-hand kickers with grosh caps on them and get ripped to piss out of. One time, my big sister said she was going to buy me trainers for my birthday, and I was like, what? She's like, what kind of trainers you want? I was like, I'm going to get me a pair of Nikes. I was like, right, no bother. She's like, I'll tell you what, I'll I'll drop them off at the school for you. I was like, right, mate, fucking sounds. So she's going to drop these off in Castlemilk High School in front of all my pals and I'm a brand new pair of fucking Nikes. And she came up and she got the name rang. She broke me a pair of Nicks.
All right, aye.
And I was like, fuck, man. This guy grabbed the fucking trainer out of the box. Oh, look, fucking Jameson's got a pair of Nicks here, big fucking Jake ball and all that. So I get the piss fucking ripped out of me, man. You know what I mean?
Totally
Like,
went
fucking,
wrong, eh?
I used to go to school. I used to go to school with...
I forgot Nicks, man.
Aye. I had second-hand kickers, fucking stonewashed denims and a brown leather jacket. I mean, there was no chance I was getting my whole... it was fucking not happening. But one time when I got older, when you're talking about like hip-hop fashion and stuff like that, when I got a wee bit older...
You get
my
a
mum
bit
was
of
like,
your own money too as well. Or...
Maybe, aye,
Right.
but when I got a wee bit older, instead of getting his fucking like toys and all that for Christmas, my mum was like, that is, right, I've got £150 to spend on you. What do you want? And I was like, well, there's a Troop tracksuit in Intersport, Troop Excitement for £100, and there's a pair of Troop trainers for £50, Troop Cobras. See if you can get me that. I'll be the fucking king of the school. And it turns out I've went for being this fucking stinking Jake ball to at Christmas, getting back in after Christmas, like fucking when you walk in, it's like the Bee Gees, down. So I had the fucking Troop tracksuit, the Troop trainers and all that, and it was like slow motion, everything like that. Jameson's got the Troop Excitement fucking tracksuit, and it was this black thing with it was red stripes and all that doing it right, and for some reason that day I was chasing somebody, and when I was chasing them I went to grab them, but the tracksuit ripped there, and so I had to fucking take it back the next day. My mum still had the receipt on it, but they didn't have it in that colour, they didn't have it in the red, they only had a blue one. So I went back in the next day with the blue version. Everyone was like, fucking hell, man. The lottery wasn't a bit, but like, have they fucking, the Jameson struck fucking money? You know what I mean? So like, that was the pinnacle of my fucking fashionista days, the Troop tracksuit and the Troop trainers.
I remember that feeling at school though, when you got to that age and you managed to convince your ma to buy you something cool. So I was like that, man. I had like corded trousers on to school and that. My ma had me in cords, and I'm sure when I was really wee, I had tank tops and all that. All that sort of stuff, eh?
I've got cords now. Cords are comfy as fuck.
To be honest, cords are pretty cool again now,
it's funny because I was shopping with the wife and I was like, I'm going to buy a fucking pair of cords, fuck it. And she was just like to me, oh, you just copying butterscotch, aye? I was like, for fuck's sake, it was like, butterscotch never like fucking invented the cords. I know he's infamous for that quirky fashion sense and that, but it's like, you just copying butterscotch now, pair of fucking cords.
My ma thought cords were a more like neat alternative to denim,
right?
Like to go to school in, got a nice pair of cords and that. Like.
I was that much of a Jake. Fucking my mate, I convinced him to give his old Nike trainers and pass them off as mine. And I always had big feet as a wee guy, you know what I mean? So I was like maybe like a size 7 or something like that, but he was a size 5, and I was like, I'll fucking wear them and just die in agony, but I've got a pair of Nikes on my fucking feet. You know what I mean? But I think it's good because I've grew up no materialistic. You know what I mean? So because I appreciate what I've got, and I'm just like, well, I don't hanker after the next brand new Jordans or anything like that. I mean, when I get anything like that, it's a fucking extreme luxury.
Aye, me too. I didn't spend a lot.
No wasteful.
I like to buy like brands and stuff, and I never got a lot of brands when I was a kid. But so when I buy something, like when I bought this t-shirt a few years ago now, and when I bought it, it was like, to me it's like, oh nice, proper Ralph Lauren t-shirt. Like it feels like quite a big deal. Like, that's nice. I would never have been getting stuff like that when I was young, so it's like a big deal. And then you see other people that got stuff like that when they were young, and wearing a Ralph Lauren t-shirt is just like wearing a pair of pants.
Aye.
You know what I mean? It's normal.
I'm quite like primitive. Like fucking, I'll wear band t-shirts. Like this band t-shirt I've got on, it's a couple of boys that are in the band. My old metal band used to play with them. And this is their new band, Brain Bath. And I was like, the minute I seen it, I'm a Man United man, so my colour scheme's red, black and white the whole fucking way, right? And I was just like, here man, it's fucking cool as fuck, man. Glasgow death metal band. I feel like a prick, so I've not seen them live yet, I mean, so I'll hopefully get to go and see them live. But I just rock band t-shirts and fucking...
Were you ever into many Edinburgh metal bands, underground bands or that?
Name some names.
Well, my brother was in a lot of bands, eh? There was one called Substate.
Right.
There's one called Angels Fall.
We'd done a few gigs with Edinburgh bands, like
Angels
Certain Death, Well, Certain Death are kind of like Kirkcaldy as well. So like Certain Death,
Sons of
Dog-
Slaughter.
Dog Tie. I've heard the Sons of Slaughter. Aye,
That was
aye.
my brother was in
Right,
them.
cool,
aye,
cool.
aye, Sons of Slaughter.
I
aye.
done-
Aye, that was their band they pushed the most. Sons of Slaughter.
Right.
I think they were called Angels Fall, and then they changed it to Sons of Slaughter. But way before that, he was in a band called Substate.
Right. Right.
And they just done metal for years.
Aye,
He was
aye,
always
aye.
played in. But I think Sons of Slaughter was like their most successful band they were in.
One of the best heavy metal bands kicking about just now is the for Pennycook, Dog
Aye.
Tired.
Aye.
I mean, Dog Tired are fucking phenomenal. And I mean, they're doing all the festival circuit and all, and they're just fucking great guys. And I mean, done
Aye.
a lot of gigs with him when I was in my metal band, Skeleton Verse.
Did you ever hear that? I remember that name. That metal band you were in just like 5-10 years ago.
Aye, something like that. Aye.
Did you ever hear a band called Ha? Haar. Ha.
No.
No. All right. A boy I ken was in a band. I don't know much about them. I just thought you might have heard of them.
Nah,
Aye. There you go.
I'm not an encyclopedia of Scottish heavy metal, you know what I mean? But
Right, right.
fucking, I just know the bands that we played with.
Yeah,
you know what I
Google
mean?
up on the next break, and
Aye. Well, as I say,
you can pretend you ken what I'm saying.
I just rock fucking band t-shirts and shit like that. That's about the extent of my my fashion.
Aye. No, I used to love doing that as well. Like, always in metal fashions, I always loved all the Iron Maiden artwork. Iron Maiden.
I love
all the
all that,
skulls
but,
and all the.
but I hate the band.
Aye. I'm not a massive fan of the band. I just love
I
the.
just think
my
it's
brother.
cheddar.
My brother used to listen to it. And that,
Aye. The
but-
reason why I don't like Iron Maiden is because my big sister, she went out with an Iron Maiden fan, and when I was a wee guy, he actually fucking broke into her house and stole all my Christmas presents. And that means so I associate Iron Maiden with that
Aye,
prick.
aye,
you know what I mean?
aye.
So he stole my Millennium Falcon, and that's why I don't like Star Wars either. And that means so fuck Iron Maiden and fuck Star Wars.
I'd probably recognise a tune, but I couldn't tell you one Iron Maiden tune. But I
Run to
always
the hills,
just,
but if you come in with that,
yeah,
like,
there you go. I know that
blasting,
name.
I'd be like, here, fucking run to the hills. You know what I mean?
I just always loved the freaking Iron Maiden like logo.
Aye, the imagery and all that.
The way they wrote their name,
Aye,
and then
aye.
all the skulls and like zombie creatures
Aye,
and
aye.
that.
See, I seen them live. I had a spare ticket to see them live. The SCCC years ago. I went along with my brother-in-law, my wife's brother. Fucking phenomenal live show, man. I
Aye,
like everything the way they put it together and all that. You know what I
Aye,
mean,
aye.
but I wouldn't go and buy an album.
Be lots
you
of
know what I mean?
pyrotechnics. And
Oh, aye, all that
and
shit. You know what I mean,
aye.
and all the big.
Probably massive skulls coming down
Aye,
from the
what,
back.
Eddie, he's like their mascot.
Eddie,
he's
aye.
fucking
I remember
comes
my
out-
brother telling me about big
Aye.
massive robot thing.
Aye.
aye.
He's like a kind of alter ego to the band. kind of thing, you know
I
what I mean?
forgot about that. Eddie, aye.
Aye,
There you go, man. You know a lot about them, even though you're.
I know. I'm filled with useless pop knowledge.
Cool, man. Well, so when would you say you started really falling in love with like the fashions of it? Was that when you could really pull in your own money and go and start buying bits and bobs? And did you ever? You've never really been too bothered
Nah,
about
I
the
don't
fashions.
care about that,
aye.
mate.
So
I
you've
mean,
never been
nah.
bothered for a pair of like woo-wear jeans or something. Or,
I didn't have the money. All my money went into the studio.
aye.
You know what I mean? Like
aye.
when I could make money.
Like I couldn't wait till I got a Raiders hat. I was like I loved West Coast shit so
Aye,
long.
aye.
I was like, I need a fucking Raiders hat. Like I had about 3 of them over the years.
I was just Public Enemy t-shirts, mate, and
Aye.
fucking House of Pain baseball caps and
Aye,
fucking
aye.
Cypress Hill t-shirts and shit like that. And
I feel dead
nothing-
shallow now. Eh?
no, well, it just is what it is. But like the minute I could earn money, I basically started taking it really seriously. Like,
You
as
always
in,
have. You've always been really professional.
At the age of
with-
16,
Aye.
when I moved to Fort William, at the age of 16, when I went to Big Nick Watercolour, working in his studio and stuff like that, the money that I made, I worked in Tesco's at the time, just stacking shelves, and the money I made, I just gave my dad's dig money, and the rest of it was mine,
Right.
which is fucking like a fortune just now. You know what I mean? Because say for instance, you made like £150 for the week, and you gave your dad 30, the rest of it was yours. So
Good.
I'd went to the studio every week, just
Aye.
making beats and trying to learn how to rap and stuff like that. So all my money went into the fucking studio, and there's always there's a Tupac line. I'm not the biggest Tupac fan, but the album Strictly, he says a line, I hate the studio because that's where all my money went.
Aye,
And
aye,
like fucking like I identify with that. I don't hate the studio, but I'm like I know where that's where
You've always got
my
really
money
good
went.
quality. Your music's always really good quality recorded
Aye,
in it
aye.
because you use proper studios. and
Aye.
that.
Well, the thing is, I'm no tech savvy at all. I
Aye.
mean, I leave it to other people, and I mean, but it's people I trust.
How did you meet up So obviously you watched Steg and that before you really knew them and that.
Aye.
So how did you end up hooking up with Steg and that? Because there was a time you were on Power Cut and.
Aye. Well, there was a gig. J. Lars was doing a gig in Edinburgh when he was with Sons of the Devil, and he was running a minibus, and so I'd kind of half met the guys at the Cat House night, and then I end up on the minibus with them going through to the gig in Edinburgh. I can't remember whose Sons of the Devil were playing, and then we all went to a house party back at I think it was at Steg's. Aye, when he stayed in Nits Hill, and it was like Steg, Davey, Big J, and it was like Steg's fucking hilarious, man. You know what I mean? So it was. I didn't have a lot of people that were into the hip hop that I was into as pals. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about fucking what the latest album is, you know what I mean? If I said that to somebody I stayed in Fort William with, they'd be like, who the fuck's Smith and Wesson? You know what I mean? Shit like that, and it's like these guys are into the same music as I'm into. You know what I mean? And wee Davey was just fucking freestyling all night and shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, you know what I mean? This is the environment I went to get into. I bought wee Davey's tape. I think it was The Next Level, a 6-track tape, and his phone number was on it. So I was like, I just gave him a bell, and I was like, listen, man, you fucking I rap as well. You want to do a song? He's like, straight away, aye. You know what I mean? And then it just kind of went for there. But they were recording in Glasgow, and I was obviously recording in Fort William, and I was like, well, why don't you guys come up here? And they were probably seen it as a holiday, like, fuck it. And then it just kind of built for there, and then we just like moved on and all became like best pals.
Aye. It was a good team back then, eh? Aye. And Cad was about, and Kim Wilson was about, and that Clydebank thing, that yous were all on that. Clyde built. Aye. Yous were all on that. That was like a team.
Aye. Kind of compilation thing. It was relentless. Because we were like recording basically every weekend for a few years, and like when the Clyde Built album finished, the weekend the Clyde Built album finished, we started an autobiography album. Halfway through the autobiography album, we'd done the Spin Cycle album.
I was about to say the Spin Cycle one as well.
It was always something like on the cards kind of thing.
Spin Cycle was quite funny, some of the tunes.
Oh, it was mental. I mean, it was just like for what I remember, I think we were on fucking acid. You know what I mean? I remember fucking we're doing a bit of that and recording, and it was just all mad freestyles. We're just like, we managed to like do 22 songs in a weekend. Like,
I'm sure it's up there. Like, I've got those 3 last rows are Scottish releases, eh?
Right,
so I'm sure it's in there, like Spin Cycle, eh?
we only gigged at once, Basement Breaks, but that was a total like fucking punk night, really. Because we just fucking, it was like, fuck it, we just made an album, put it out, and we'll just play it live one night, and that was fucking basically. We've done a few songs off it at other gigs, like I can't remember the names of them, to be honest with you, but like the ones that were bangers that could fit on any hip hop night, really. And I mean, we still done them, but it was fun.
Aye, cool.
Aye.
Nice, man. We're pushing on this one, eh? So I mean, maybe just to finish off this part, I think that coffee's making my throat dry. I thought you were going to say, here's my water. No, I'm all good.
You don't want mask levels, mate. That means you'll catch AIDS and COVID.
Ken, COVID in this day and age. Apparently they're saying it's coming back. It's in the news and stuff. Like, I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. But sound. So, I mean, you spoke a lot about what got you into it and that and early stuff. So, why do you still do music now? What's the main sort of reason that keeps you going? Is it just because you just pure enjoy it? And
that as well, but it keeps my head right as well.
Aye.
Like it's mental. I associate like the reason why I make hip hop music. A lot of it came from the death of my mum.
Wow.
You know what I mean, I lost my mum at the age of 16, and I piled all my energy into that, as opposed to grief. You know what I mean? So I associate the music stuff with making her proud, if that makes sense. And that's why I've kept at it. Sometimes it pisses me off because it doesn't go in the direction that I want it to go, but I'm like, I've always got something in the pipeline, and it's wild. I've finished with my like high school sweetheart because of it, because she says choose me or the music. There's the door. You know what I mean? Just know that I love the music more than you, it's you just put me in that position,
Aye.
knowing how much this means to me and the reason why I do it. Know what I mean?
And actually, that can turn you right off of the person anyway, because it's like, wow, you're forcing me to do something.
Aye.
I don't really like that.
And whereas I'm lucky because my wife's really understanding about what I do, because I would either be doing gigs at the weekend. What do you want me to do? You want me to do this, or I could be getting pissed with my mates, putting all sorts of shit up my nose, know what I mean? And
I know, eh? What else are you going to do if you're not doing music, eh?
Karate.
You're going to... Aye.
No, I'm looking.
I was going to say.
Kind of for the black belt.
No. Cool. So you were saying earlier then, eh? So your dad, you call him your dad. So your mum had died when you were 16.
Aye.
So you had him. He was.
Aye. That was basically like 2 weeks after we'd moved to Fort William.
So that's why he's even so important to you as well, because you lost your mum and then you still had your dad.
Aye. Don't get me wrong. That was a tough time for him and for me, because like he chased my mum for 17 years and finally got together with her and all that. Know what I mean? And then when she died, he was just left with me. You know what I mean? As in like a grief-stricken fucking teen that's trying to work through life and that.
At that age, 16.
And me and him, we butted heads a lot, because like living in Fort William, and it was just like the two of us, it was just like, well, this was the dream move for us, getting out of a housing scheme in Glasgow and moving to a nice place. Know what I mean? Fucking blah blah blah, and it just turned upside down. But the thing is, with Fort William was really dear to me, because I associate that with saving my life. Because if my mum died when I was in Castlemilk, and then me and all my mates were getting like say drinking drugs and stuff like that, fuck knows what would have happened with me. I might have been fine, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to glamorise that, but you never know.
Taken away from that surroundings is definitely.
And the thing is as well, every street in Castlemilk for me is a memory. And whereas if I had that, along with the death of my mum, that mean it would have been quite hard to whip my head around. Whereas in Fort William, I'd no memories. My old dear there, that means, so it was like no a clean slate, but it was like, well, I can kind of breathe, that mean, and like try and get all this. And I had the music to fucking pile into that, and take my mind off stuff.
Music's a mad thing that saves a lot of folk, like through difficult times.
I find it ridiculously therapeutic.
And
and
as you say, the more time you're spending writing rhymes and recording verses and making music, you're not getting yourself in trouble or going down the wrong path.
Aye, exactly. I mean, the thing is as well, usually when I'm gigging, I'm the dick that's driving everybody about, so I can't get a chance to take a fucking beer. That's what it is.
And nobody's leading you down the wrong path, really, because nobody's really leading you anyway.
Nah, exactly. That's what it is.
You're probably more of a leader yourself with your pals, kind of positive.
I try, I mean, but like when you're in a band and you're the front man, like I've always spoke to Nick and Watercolour Music about it, and it's like fucking the reason why the front man is always so driven is because he sees it as his vision, you know what I mean, and everybody can just come along. That means like he's like that. The reason why bands make it is because they've all got that mentality. Whereas when it's just a front man pulling it along, it's like fucking Whereas like if everybody's on the same page, that's when things work. And I definitely think a lot of that mentality was with me, Davey and Steg. That's why we got all the big stuff, because all yous were fully focused. We didn't have kids, you know what I mean? Fucking that's
similar with us.
It was all just like, nah, this is the goal, this is what we're going for and all that. I mean,
that's definitely a good. We were the same with like even just making tunes together. Me, Mad Tat, U-Turn. All folk we worked G-Force and blah blah. At one point there was lots of us all doing stuff together, and when you released a tune, we were all pushing the tune. It wasn't just one person pushing one tune. It was like all the efforts and. Well, I think we should call it quits on that, because we've pushed that to the limit, I think. So that's been another good chat, man. Cool. So we'll go into the second break. It's going to be another track from Damaged Goodz. All details will be on the screen, and we'll be back in a wee minute.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know I said I will, but I won't if you ask. All the blood we spilt could be poured in a glass. You're never on your own, cause our pain's bout to last. And she's famous, ghost famous. I know I said I will, but I won't if you ask. All the blood we spilt could be poured in a glass. You're never on your own, cause your pain's bout to last. And you're famous, ghost famous.
I'm the ghost of your past that you can't get away from. Stuck in your head and there's nowhere to turn to. Try run and hide but you can't get away. I've been gone for years but now I'm here to stay. Never letting go, now I'm here to let you know I'll be everywhere you are and any place you roam. Time runs out when the pressure's on. Now I'm back with a vengeance cold as stone. Can't get rid of me, you know what it has to be. Payback time for the things that I had to see. Try open the door but I've got the key. I'm in control and you'll never be free. Think it's a game till I make my move. Snakes and ladders, I'll let you choose. I've already won so you're gonna lose. Now you're caught in the dark, singing the blues. Stuck in the wrong place, lost and confused. Out in the cold, battered and bruised. All in your aim, feeling abused. No cunt can stop me, it's all on you. No way out for the thoughts in your head. By the time I'm done you're gonna wish you were deep. Out in the dark, bloody and soaked. It's how I die cause I'm just a ghost.
I came right back from the depths. Hate the fact that I can rap about death. Get stressed out, want to bang my head. But I'm a grown man mate so I handle a mess. Stuck with the ghost, haunted now so I'm fucked for the most. Can't handle all of the pain that I got so I tame it and walk through comfort of loss. And I've done mad shit I'm ashamed of. Want to smoke down in the dam so I take off. Need to write down what I think so I make songs. Want to sit and talk to my mate but my mate's gone. Gone in the wind, miss them daily but I talk when I can. Losing a daughter would put me off water. I felt I was bothered, lost within. I got a life and death, I need to fight my head. I make rhymes to ken that my life's in check. And I find that when I go right the best I got pain in my heart from a life that left. I get inspired, feeling the energy. Say what I say to them, nothing you're telling me. Feeling the pain and the memories. Ghosts in the past, no remedy.
These ghosts are following me. These ghosts want solace for pain. These voices whisper and die. I'm screaming
levels of pain, memories stained when I'm heading for enemy lane. Pat scores conveyor, dark forces merge, glass scores are never, crash course to swell. I'm a broke antidote to my mum's mistakes. Hope crushed my way till the circuit breaks. Overcoming fate, smash drums of death. You smell, kiss them all, give my burning flesh. Living a lie, give me a bye, see me giving a flying. Fuck, why would I ever comply? Drunk or sober, come closer. Burnt toes on the scum posers, I fucked over. On the darkest night, I should pack a knife. Come a price for the people that are scarred for life. Living in my head, rent free, avenge me. Put on my defences, or set free.
Shut a mouth closed that I never missed. Better check over my shoulder to get a glimpse back. Never left close to the prisoners. Fellas in the bed of their bloke is venomous. He said I'm a broken pessimist. He said I'm a hopeless mentalist. He said I'm a wreck in a mess. Said for the best I'm alone and desolate. No friend of me, identity, tend to be enmity. Eminent enemy entity. Emanate fella malevolent energy. Getting me, candidates headed an enemy. Slowly show me. Won't let me live, called me to overdose on sedatives. Hoping to throw me over the precipice. Go with the evidence, so worst nemesis.
Time you doing when you're sliding the room as they're playing your tune. Bada bing, bada boom. Well grim, looking fit in a long dress. You went so much trouble you would think it's a contest. I confess, maybe I thought of the same shit, even though it's some lame shit. Pretty sure it's some gay shit. Shit, am I saying this? That's a good way to end up on a hate list, or at least forfeit a pay slip. When I say slip, I mean slip my mind. Like the fact I can't stone you for your witless crimes. Fire on a certain song and spliffs and wine and Jesus Christ. Who anyone is behind? No tonight. I'm chilling with the trips in my own one. It's been a minute plus I'm in the tune in my homeland. So no bams, no skanks, no qualms. You'll no hip to the programme, thanks but no tap.
These ghosts are following me. These ghosts want solace for pain. These voices whisper and die. I'm screaming why.
Right, guys, that's us back. Hope you enjoyed that track there from Damaged Goodz. That was the second track on the podcast. All details should have been on the screen like before. And we're going to move straight on to the final part of the podcast. Perfect. So this part, man, is all about sort of your accomplishments throughout your sort of music career that scales back a while. So you must have quite a few things you've done. Hopefully. I'll put you on the spot there. And then sort of after talk about that, what you're working on just now or focused on just now. I know you've got an album coming. You probably mentioned that. Aye? Oh, I hope I didn't say something I shouldn't.
No.
And yeah, and then if we've still got time, like any sort of plans or things you'd like to do in the future, maybe, like who knows, some people might come out with, Ken, what? I just decided I'd like to learn how to scratch. Ken, like, you never know.
I wish more people would.
Aye.
Because we need more DJs. There's too many MCs.
I can. Totally. Aye, cool, man. Well, sort of going back as as far, you don't need to rake your brain, but maybe going early as you can, accomplishments in your life and music as well, that you're sort of proud of things
Aye.
that
Well,
you did.
The first thing that blew my mind was getting to play with the Sugar Hill Gang at King Tut's. That was like massive at the time for me anyway.
When around was that? How?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, mate. I honestly couldn't tell you. Probably
Talking like
97.
Aye, 20 years, 20,
Aye,
more
something
than
like
that, 20 odd years ago.
98, 99 probably. That was a big thing, and getting played in the radio for the first time. It was just like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It was like Vic Galloway, it wasn't called the BBC introducing it at the time, it was whatever it was, BBC Live Session or whatever, and them actually playing your song
Your
and
music,
you're telling your family, I'm on the fucking radio here, like it was a big thing. That was the Keys to the City.
Big up to Vic Galloway. He's
guy.
always really nice guy too. And
gentleman.
I bumped into him at Tea in the Park when I was doing that with Mad Hat, and I bumped into him here. He's always just a nice, really nice guy, and always supported the Scottish scene.
Definitely. Like that as well, and being able to get on vinyl for the first time in 1997 with the Delivering the Goods EP. Just like these things, just like having your
Getting
music
your
on
vinyl.
wax is like fucking hell, man. And I've been fortunate enough to have it about 5 or 6 times through the time that I've been rapping, and obviously moving for that on to being able to record and release and get like features and stuff in like Hip Hop Connection, because Hip Hop Connection was like a Bible, but they kind of treated us like dicks, to be honest with you.
I mean, it was English based, really.
It wasn't that. It was like they like an unsigned hype kind of bit, and it was a big deal getting on it. And the guy that interviewed us was some twat for the Observer or something like that, and they was just trying to like make it as like me as if some sort of cultural appropriation thing. That I mean, like hijacking like black culture and shit like that. And it's like I fucking respect it, man. I'm a fucking Public Enemy tattoo, and I mean I live for this shit. And I mean I'm no here at the front. And the good thing is, I think the next month after that, Guru the Gangstar came out and said this guy's a prick. You know what I mean? So it kind of took the heat off me. Getting in Hip Hop Connection and then moving on and being able to do the big gigs.
Was he just like a random white guy reporter?
No, I don't know what he was. I just know his name. For what I remember, his name is Burhan Wazir. And he ended up being a writer
Eastern
for that.
or something.
I couldn't tell you, mate. I don't know.
Well, I was going to judge and think he was just like some white guy journalist.
No.
Telling you what's okay for black music.
I think he was trying to get his foot up the ladder in kind of posh journals kind of thing. So that's how he ended up probably at the Observer. But anyway, that's just still bitter shit, know what I mean? But it was cool to get your name in Hip Hop Connection, and get good reviews and people digging your shit.
Everybody read that, like unsigned hype.
The thing is as well, like when you're getting reviews and you're getting reviewed besides Rakim and Busta Rhymes, you're just like fucking hell, man. I'm in this cunt's company here, and that I mean you feel as if, well, this is working, and just plugging away, getting out there and trying to make sure fucking shit hot live show, and that kind of led to going for King Tut's and like getting like support slots at the Barragans and opening up for like 50 Cent at the CCC and stuff like that. So it was just like a good trajectory, so to speak. You know what I mean? But it's stuff that I'm proud of, but you deserve it for the work that you put in.
You supported a lot of big names over the years, like
well, like
50 Cent and
50 Cent in the Game, Lloyd Banks, Exhibit, Sugar Hill Gang, Busta Rhymes. Done a DJ set for the Black Eyed Peas, but me and David were kind of MCing a wee bit, not in between it and stuff like that.
Did you get to meet many of these people at gigs and that?
It was funny.
You're lucky just sometimes, and sometimes no.
we couldn't get anywhere near 50 Cent, but like Mobb Deep and MOP were cool as fuck ways, and I mean they were jumping back and forth, and they were sound ways and shit like that. Exhibit, we opened up for Exhibit at the garage. He came and seen us. It was me, Zini, and Big Div at the time. He came and seen us and he was talking away. He's like, "He's want some pictures, guys," and all. He was fucking a gentleman. I mean, he's brand new as fuck. Got pictures with him and shit like that. And that was great. The game, when opened up for the game, this is funny as fuck. It was at the O2, which was the Callan Academy at the time. So we're in there, and so we've done the support slot, and the management went like, "Listen, the game wants to come and meet us after the gig once he's done his show." Well, sound fucking no problem. And the sound died on him when he was doing his set, so he was like furious, going back and forth and shit like that. You know what I mean? So we get told we need to stay in the dressing room, and I was in there. I took my wee nephew along. That means he's a hip hop fan, and stood there with the game, and waiting in the game to get back on, but he couldn't do anything till the sound fucking get fixed. My wee nephew's like, "No, when you getting back on, big man?" And I was like, for fuck's sake, man." He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know." And it's like, "Oh, fuck's sake, man." He's like, "Cunts are all waiting about and all that." I'm like, "Fucking David, shut the fuck up, man. Fucking get back here." And he's up fucking, after the gig finished, we're backstage getting our whatever PRS sorted and shit like that, and the game's management was kind of like looking me up and doing like funny, and I'm just like, "This fucking prick growling at me," and he's just like, "Yeah, man, you're wearing a Chicago White Sox hat and a New York Yankees jacket. What the fuck?" And it never dawned on me. It's basically like an American guy coming on here and wearing an Aberdeen jacket and Dundee United baseball cap. I felt like a prick. You know what I mean? So,
I bought this LA Lakers hat in New York, and when I went in the shop, it was like they didn't know what to sell me. I was in New York, and I'm like, and they're like, "Yeah, can I help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just want to buy like a hat, something I can't really get home very easy." And I'm like, "I really do like that NY hat, blah blah," but I've always been a big fan of the Lakers like stuff, and I'm loving that Lakers hat. She's like, "Yeah, but you can't come to New York and buy a Lakers hat." And I was like,
"What are you selling it for?"
"How no?" And she's like, "Well, you're in New York, get an NY hat." And I'm like, "I'm really loving the Lakers hat though. I think I'm probably going to go with the Lakers hat." And she's like, "I don't know if you should." I'm like, well, that's what I'm wanting. And it was properly like, "But you're in New York." And then I was like, "Why does it matter?"
But honestly, I just felt like a fucking idiot. So if anyone was like that, right, I'll just, if I'm wearing any shit like that, the only reason I had that stuff is because it was cheap in Foot Locker. I was like, "That's a cool fucking New York Yankees jacket."
I went to Boston and bought, and then I've got family over there, so I've been there 3 times for weddings and that, and we went to Boston, and when I was in Boston I had an NY hat, and on the train an old guy says to me, you better watch yourself with that hat on here." And I was like, "What, the NY? Yeah, and people won't like you wearing that here."
No.
And then when I went to New York, by that point, I'd adapted myself to Boston hats because I like the B for the borough for Edinburgh. So I've got a few Boston hats.
I get them because it's B for fucking BJ.
I knew that. I used to get them for B for the borough. So then I was in New York, and I had people saying to me like, "Well, I wouldn't be wearing that in New York." And I'm like, and then I mind explaining, "I'm from Edinburgh, and like back in Scotland we call Edinburgh the borough. So I'm wearing it for that reason." And then people were like, "That's quite cool."
Right.
Yeah, like, "All right,
it.
I'm not wearing it for Boston.
No.
I'm wearing it for Edinburgh."
And
they're like, "Oh, that's quite cool then." Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I randomly got completely infatuated with Boston. Just for the films and the music scene, the hip hop scene and that there. And that means some of my favourite MCs. One of my favourite MCs, probably top 10 for me, is Slane.
All right,
Fela Coca Nostra.
I know the name.
His shit's phenomenal.
He's a massive
man.
name.
Well, he's in some of the Boston films as well, like Gone Baby Gone and The Town. It's like, I don't know what it is. See the
Town, I think I might have seen that one.
The bank robbery.
And is it Ben Affleck in that?
It's Ben Affleck that directs that, and he directs Gone Baby Gone. But I get
Donnie Brasco as well.
That's not Boston.
Donnie Brasco?
No, that's New York.
I thought Donnie Brasco.
No, it's New York.
Right. What was the one in?
You're thinking of Black Mass. Johnny Depp plays Whitey Bulger.
You sure Donnie Brasco's not Boston?
Definitely no.
Right.
Watch it again and prove me wrong. I mean, I don't fucking know. But Johnny Depp plays Whitey Bulger in Black Mass.
Maybe
and
that's the
about
one I'm
Boston.
thinking about
Aye,
then, because it's
aye,
Johnny Depp
aye.
as well. Yeah.
But I feel as if see the Boston mentality. The Boston mentality is that fucking close to the Glasgow mentality.
Aye,
That's
aye.
why I'm infatuated with all that shit, like Gone Baby Gone, Mystic River, Goodwill Hunting, Boondock Saints, fucking, and with Slane, a lot of stuff he raps and
Is
writes
that
about.
the
and
movie
so-
Mystic River?
Aye,
Aye,
it's
aye,
one with
that's
Kevin Bacon.
Film.
And,
I've been to the town, Mystic.
right.
Where it was filmed.
I
Mystic.
think it's Clint Eastwood that directed that.
Aye, aye,
Aye,
aye.
but,
And that
they-
place, we went to Mystic on a road trip, and it was like, this is famous for the film and that. All right, well,
Aye.
this is Mystic.
It's quite
And
funny because we
on the river, eh?
Aye, with the Boston thing as well. Like I was like, I wouldn't mind getting to know somebody for South Boston, because South is meant to be fucking insane. Like,
Aye.
and so I just randomly fucking put into Facebook search South Boston. A guy called James O'Brien came up. I was like, I'll be a mad bastard and just like send him a message. Say, listen, this might sound mental. Know what I mean, I'm not after anything, but like telling him about Glasgow hip hop and fucking Scottish hip hop and all like that. I'm looking to see what Boston has to offer as far as hip hop goes and all that. Then we became like no pen pals, but like internet pals.
Aye.
And see when the Boston bombings happened, he had pals that were there now at the marathon, and he was like getting like a blow by blow account of them looking for the guys that done it and shit like that. Oh, we heard he's in fucking Dorchester. We've heard he's here and all that. I'm just like, fucking hell, man.
Nuts,
It is,
eh?
nuts. Aye. But as I say, the Boston mentality and the Glasgow mentality, it might be the
I didn't realise Boston until I started to go there when I was younger and learning a bit that Boston's like mega sort of gangster city too.
Oh, aye.
Like a lot of mafia back in the day in Boston and stuff. And
Seen The Departed?
aye, that's the movie I'm thinking. Departed.
Aye.
In Boston. Aye, that's the one. Yeah, and it's like almost more than New York. It was more gangster run.
Aye. The mafia and the Irish mob.
Aye. It's probably easier to run that than to take over New York, eh? Taking over Boston was probably quite easier than taking over New York, just for the size wise and stuff.
I don't know. I watched the films. I'm not clued up on how gangsters work.
Aye. I thought you'd have been an expert on that.
No, not at all. I might look like a gangster, but I'm not one.
Nice one, man. Cool. Well, are you happy with any other sort of accomplishments you think of?
Still got a hard on at 46.
Aye, that's not bad then, eh?
I've not got one just now, but anyway.
Hopefully 56 you'll still be...
No, like the biggest thing for me with regards to the music thing goes is getting to play the Barrowlands.
Aye.
Because that's where I seen all my heroes.
Aye.
And that's what the song on the new album Keep the Dream Alive is about. It's about being a punter at the Barrowlands and then getting to play there and hopefully maybe getting one more crack at it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, and not in a massive way. That when you start to perform in that and you get those first feelings of it's not like in a big-headed way, but you realise like, oh well, these people are here to see me, and they're enjoying it. And I used to go and watch people and enjoy it, and now and I'm the one on the stage now, and it's amazing that feeling.
It's good because like the age I'm at just now, and whenever I do gigs, I used to get really like downhearted when there wasn't a big crowd to perform to and shit like that. And I mean, I don't know whether that's ego or something like that, but I always find like I'm happy playing to 5 people or 500.
Aye,
you know, like if 1 people goes away for it enjoying it, I've done my job.
Aye.
You know? And you can learn how to work crowds better when it's a hostile environment as opposed to if everybody's there to see you and it's kind of like a comfort zone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I've done some gigs like that with Savage Sound System that we did stuff with, and Alexis runs that, and he's a producer, and he started to get me and Word and U-Turn. He's had a few folk on gigs with them, but their crowd is like electro band crowd,
right?
So like nobody's used to Scottish hip hop, eh?
Aye.
I remember the first couple of times doing gigs with them and feeling like, gosh, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be filled new era hat wearing like young guys. Like, it's going to be like sort of electro new age band folk. I wonder how it's going to go down. And it was like because they'd not seen it before.
Aye.
And again, without sounding, but because you do it well, they're amazed. They're like, wow, and folk are coming up to you afterwards like, that was really good. You
Well,
know?
if you're authentic and you're real, know what I mean, fucking it cuts through all the bullshit.
Aye,
mean,
aye.
so,
If
like,
you were
it
just up
doesn't
there
matter.
fake and talking nonsense and not very good at it, then folk would be like, they'd probably be going away to like, well, we were at this gig last night. There was this guy rapping. It was like so cheesy.
Aye,
But
aye.
instead, they're seeing you and they're going, wow, he's so authentic and pure his own accent, and they've never heard it before. They're like, wow, I didn't even know Scottish people rapped. And
Aye.
he's really, and they would be coming up to you afterwards like, really enjoyed that, mate.
That's a good thing as well when you're talking about accomplishments and all that. I think a lot of people's first introduction to hip hop in their own accent, like I would say quite a lot of people, the first time they seen it was for myself as well.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And that's a good thing because I always had Big Div and Wee Davy in high esteem for that.
Aye,
You know what I mean?
aye. It's pretty cool that, I think the new generation, a lot of people claim they're not really showing recognition to the older heads, the new ones that are out now. But I think they are. I think it's just like this stigma where everyone thinks these new guys are coming up and they're not. But I just think just because they're not like bigging you up in their interviews and all that, they saw our stuff, and these new guys are coming up. They don't need to. People are got like a chip on their shoulder a wee bit that you're not showing thanks to the folk that were before you. But I kind of go, what do you want them to do? Like make tunes about you and that.
Aye.
Like,
No, I've always
I'm looking
respected
forward
the
to
people.
interviewing them. That'll be interesting.
Aye.
Yeah.
I've always bigged up the people that came before me, and I try as much to support the new guys that are putting out good stuff. You know what I mean? So
totally.
I've not really got a frame of reference as in where I'm like at. No, well, nah, fucking this is where my support ends. Know what I mean? Like fucking.
I try to
like,
be like that too. Aye.
as much as possible,
Should all
but
support
sometimes
each
it
other,
does. Sometimes it does piss you off when the favour doesn't get returned.
Aye.
You know, and it's just like, come on, man. Know what I mean? There's people that have shared their shit fucking 20 times and they've not done it once now. But don't get me wrong, that kind of. There's a wee part of me where I'm like, that kind of thought process is quite petty. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas I'm just like, listen, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing anyway. So fuck it. You know what I mean?
Cool, man. Well, we're churning on this one, so I don't know if you just want to talk about the projects you're working on just now and things that you've got coming out, so people can know about.
The new album's going to drop on the 23rd of July.
23rd of July.
Aye, on all digital formats and shit like that.
I'd even spoke to you. I could speak about it on camera. So do you want this podcast to drop like bang on when the album's dropping?
Just whenever, mate.
I
When I was speaking to you before about that, because I didn't know what plan I was doing with it, I didn't really want it out there and leaked and all because there was so many moving parts with different producers and different MCs and all that. I hate seeing people saying, oh, fucking new album's coming out, know what I mean? And next thing you know, it's a year later and just like, nah, I wanted it finished before I started talking about it.
We can chat about it afterwards, but
but you can get it on CD as well. Know what I mean, I've had it on CD for the last few weeks. Know what I mean, just so people
self-titled album, isn't it?
Aye, self-titled.
Just Damaged Goodz album.
I couldn't be fucked doing like a concept record and then working artwork around it and all that. Know what I mean, I just wanted to try and make shit hot songs, you know what I mean, and just be like that. Well, listen, it's just one song at a time.
Is it just going to be out on all platforms
all
and
platforms,
stuff?
Aye.
So
it drops on all platforms on the 23rd of July and limited edition CDs.
Cool.
I've only pressed up 7,500, so. I was seeing how long I can spin that bullshit out for. That I mean, like, I don't lie about my numbers like some fucking people. Know what I mean?
But cool. Well, make sure to get that album then, because that's one of the main reasons we're doing the podcast too, to promote the album. So, but just search for Damaged Goodz, and maybe like if you're googling it, latest album, it's going to come up.
Damaged Goodz with a Z because I'm cool.
Damaged Goodz with a Z. Aye, everybody's got a Z that's cool. It's UV Beats, and last night I done Bars Fury. We've all got Zs.
Aye, well, I started it with the Zs. I mean, but it wasn't because it was cool. It's because I was shite in English in school, and I kind of spelled goods.
Aye, you've totally got me on that. Like, hey, you done the Z before anyone else. Totally copied you. Cool, man. Well, I totally want to get you on some tunes as well, once I'm working on something. Get
cool,
some
man.
Damaged Goods
Send
verses.
it on, that, man. I'll see my agent, see if we can slot you in.
That's a massive positive for these podcasts. I'm re-strengthening my build in the scene.
Aye.
hooking
I'm not
up
kidding.
with
I don't have an agent.
Aye. It's alright, I'll just tap on you to follow you home now and find out
Hit
where you
me up on Messenger and that. I mean, fucking if it's dope, I'm always down. You know what I mean?
man. Aye. Nice one. Cool. Well, I mean, we're pretty much at the end, I'd say. We could just call it quits, I think. You've covered most things you were proud of, things you've accomplished, and what you're working on now, really. So
aye. Just my lingerie line to push.
Aye. Just the underwear and aye. Is it bras and pants and that?
No. Double XL boxer shorts.
Oh, right, aye.
With the damaged goods, they've got holes in them and fucking burner marks. So, I'm kidding. Don't get that.
Aye. Don't take everything too seriously.
No. It's all about the banter.
Aye. Well, it's been good, man. Totally,
Cool.
really
Thanks for having
enjoyed.
me. Sound.
Big up. Totally enjoyed that one. It's been good.
Aye.
Can't wait to watch it back. Love it when we've had so much to talk about that forgotten half of it. So I'll enjoy watching it back myself.
I could just continue on that. I mean, let's talk for fucking Scotland.
Well, we can do another one. I mean, I could whenever suits you. I mean, I'm happy to do more repeat ones and that. Like after I've done a few more, get you back again.
Of course.
Aye, always stuff. And then I'm gonna get combined podcasts on the go. So I might maybe do something like I go to Glasgow and get Steg and Freestyle. You could maybe jump on that as well. And I'm gonna get multiple mics.
Sounds
This is
cool.
a new idea I'm having to have banter podcasts.
Aye.
Not really interviews, but just a whole load of us all telling stories and so there's more opportunities like so.
Aye.
Nice
great.
one. So once again, big up Damaged
mate.
Goods
Thank you.
up in the house, and thanks very much.
Aye.
Thanks to everybody for watching.
Peace.
And we'll
Chicken
catch you
grease.
soon. Peace. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any upcoming content.